We have some huge breaking news in the world of heavy metal. Slayer has just made a shocking announcement that they are going to be reuniting for two very special performances this year. I'm sure a lot of you at home are thinking, hey, I'm not surprised they're coming back. And I'm sure we all imagine this would eventually happen to some degree, given that Tom Araya's real grievance with retiring from Slayer was the grueling and extensive touring schedule. So what are we seeing now? We're seeing Slayer come back for these two individual performances, just two shows this year, and the band is going to obviously attract some big attention for those special performances. People from around the world undoubtedly are going to fly in for these special shows. I've got to point out this lineup here from Louder Than Life in Louisville, Kentucky, where Slayer is going to be headlining, and just show you how mind-blowing this is. You've got this Slayer reunion show happening, and then you've got Slipknot, Motley Crue, Korn, Five Finger Death Punch, Evanescence, Disturbed, Judas Priest, The Offspring, Till Lindemann, Falling in Reverse, Breaking Benjamin. This isn't even all of it. Sum 41, Tom Morello, Mastodon, Seosin, Body Count. I mean, look at this freaking lineup, man. It's too big to even fit here on screen. There are so many bands. This is crazy. Mind-blowing. So you have Slayer reuniting here. They're going to be performing as well at Riot Fest. So people from around the world are going to come in and see this show. What's also very interesting about this is you have Kerry King, who just released his debut solo single a couple of weeks ago, set to make his solo live debut actually at Welcome to Rockville in Daytona in May. And now you have Slayer reuniting for these two massive performances, when just a couple of weeks ago, Kerry King was doing interviews talking about how he hadn't even spoken to Tom Araya, not even once, since the band retired, and now they're performing together. It makes me feel as if this all came together very recently. Now, I could be wrong about that. It wasn't really hinted or alluded to in any way to Kerry King, who's a pretty outspoken dude. This is what he was saying just a few weeks ago about Slayer, about the fact that him and Tom hadn't spoken in years. This is the Rolling Stone. It said, since we're talking about Tom, how did you find out he wanted to retire? We were on tour and some kid was interviewing him, and he said something about, I've got to get together with Kerry and talk about, before we talk about the next record. He should have just said, I'm probably not going to do another record, or had that conversation with me. Before he mentioned anything like that, I was just assuming, oh, fuck, what's this going to be? And it was, I'm done. Not what I expected, but if you made that decision, I'm not going to try to talk you out of it because your heart's not going to be in it anyways. It said, did he just say he was done? He goes, I think it was just the wear and tear of the road. I think he wanted to be home. None of us are real spotlight seekers, but he's certainly not. And when Jeff was around, he was like a hermit. He didn't want fame. I tolerate fame. Somebody's got to be that guy. Continues, I was wondering if the split was due to you having different politics. He goes, I was super pissed off at that. It says when Tom posted about Trump on Slayer's Instagram, he goes, but I wasn't enough to quit my band. I was like, dude, that's what your personal social media is for. You're not the only one in this band. You're the only one in this band that gives a shit about this idiot. And when you put it up there, we're all backing him. And I am not backing him. Gary's not. Paula's not. That's your opinion, not ours. I would have never do that to you. They go, I wasn't sure if it was something deeper. Kerry goes, well, me and Tom have never been on the same page. Like if a chocolate shake, he wants a vanilla shake. Kerry, what color is the sky? Blue. Tom, what color is the sky? White. We're just different people. The further on in years we got, it just became more. And am I going to hang out with Tom? He likes tequila a bit, and I'm a big tequila head, so I'll have my shot with him and we'll part ways. We're not going to hang out or anything because we're very different people, and together we made great music and a great live show. And so it says, when did it hit you Slayer was done? He says, it hit me right away because I knew it wasn't going to change anything about what I do. He said it. When we got to the forum for the last two shows, especially the last one, I'm like, this is the last time I'm going to be doing this in this format. It was tough. The hardest thing for me probably was keeping my head in the game and not messing up because your whole life is in your head. Have you talked to Tom since the last show? Not a text, not even an email. I've talked to everybody else from the band on the phone, text, or email. If Tom hit me up, I'd probably respond. It probably depends on what he hit me up for, but I don't wish him dead at this moment. So you hear that at the very end. He's literally saying he hasn't spoken to Tom, and then he goes, if he hit me up, I'd probably respond. That was just 2 weeks ago. And I'm wondering if this is a deal that came together at the very last minute. I could be wrong about that, but it's really exciting to have Slayer coming back, I know everybody's going to come out and say, oh, they said they were retiring and now they're coming back. Yes, of course. Number one, that's pretty much to be expected when you have Kerry King saying he's frustrated they retired too early. And then you compare that to essentially what Tom Araya didn't like about performing with Slayer was being on tour so much, traveling so much. Well, there's probably a fair compromise there. And I think that's what we're seeing right now, which is this band still wants to play. I know Tom Araya probably thinks after being away from it for several years, you know, I could do this a couple times a year and have a good time. And he's able to be retired and do it part-time. And I have no problem with that. And I think this is a very big deal for Louder Than Life. It's a very big deal for Riot Fest, and it's historic. And if I have to choose between a band that I love not playing at all or just playing sometimes, and I could catch a flight to go see them, and many people from around the world can, I'm down with that. And I think we're probably going to see more of this, and I'm all for it. I am. I'm not going to sit here and go, you said you were retiring. I mean, at this point, if you're surprised by that, I don't know what to tell you, but I always take this stuff kind of with a grain of salt. This idea that you never say never. And that's what we're seeing right here with Slayer. I'm very excited. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you going to Louder Than Life? Are you going to Riot Fest? Let me know. And of course, hit that subscribe button with notifications on for the latest news and updates.